Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Good morning, gamers. It's time for another lovely episode of Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. If you're listening to this right now, we're well into our Kickstarter, or at least started it. Hopefully you've gone and told your friends. If not, go and do that right now. Send them a text message unless you're driving. Once again, Gamer Leaf doesn't want to be the cause of accidents on the street because you're using your phone while you drive. But when you get to a safe destination, or heck, why don't you just pull off the side of the road and go ahead and text all your contacts right now and tell them about the lovely Kickstarter that we're having. I'm sure they would love a Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf t-shirt, amongst the other swag. Also, if you haven't entered yet, you still have some time to go ahead and enter to win one of Stratus Games games, which you can also go ahead and get a triple pack on the Kickstarter, but you can also try to win one of them by signing up for our mailing list. And it's a link. I can give you the link. Once again, our website is called gamerleafgo.com, kind of like Pokemon Go, but it's really Gamerleaf Go. So it is gamerleafgo.com/gamer dash or minus sign leaf dash or minus sign go dash or minus sign contest, and that will bring you to the where you can enter to win either Gold Mine or Eruption by Stratus Games. Haven't played Gold Mine yet. We're going to. I watched the video today over at stratusgames.com, but Eruption was pretty fun. We're going to play and bring you an episode of that in the near future. Well, anyways, once again, if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and like our Kickstarter. Go ahead and find out what we're going to be bringing to you and whatnot. And hopefully you'll be able to have fun from there. Now, today we're going to be discussing a game that I rather liked. How this episode is going to be different than our normal episodes is usually we bring you the story of the game. We don't tell you what the game is, but we bring you the story. I tell you the story. Hopefully I will get better with that as time progresses. But this time we're going to go ahead and we're going to tell you about the story afterwards. Not necessarily the story of our gameplay, but a little bit of the background of the story of the game, of some of the characters and whatnot. And so that's what we'll be doing. And usually we do the adventures and acquisition with one of the Leafs after the game play and game story and the game review. But this week we're going to change things up, but it's not going to be an everyday thing like this. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring to you the adventures and acquisition right now, right in your living room or wherever you're at. Today we are discussing Darwin Castle's Cthulhu Realms. There's an app for that, just like everything else. There is an app for that. And there's an app on iOS as well as on the Android. Google Play is where I got mine. I really enjoyed the how to play. They do 2 tutorials and they walk you through pretty much everything in the game. And it tells you and then it puts you to rest. And so that was good. I went ahead and did that. And then the gameplay is pretty good. It's a really fun game. I liked this app a little bit less than the Star Realms app because some of the ways you get the buttons to play, like when you're trying to attack the other person's sanity, you have to draw a line from you to them with your finger, like kind of like if you're going to shoot somebody. It makes sense what you're doing there, But I liked it in the Star Realms app, if I recall correctly. It's been a while since I've played it. But if I recall correctly, you just double clicked them and that would take their hit points away. So that is good. The art is really good. They do excellent animation, like especially at the front. You're going through on the ad. You're going. It looks like you're going through. I'm not sure if it's a mansion or what it is. They're panoramicing. They're panning around the room with the camera. It's really cartoon-like, just like in the card game. And you're seeing pictures on the walls and all kinds of stuff. They have ads about different things going on too in regards to the other apps they have, and they have some Facebook groups and whatnot. You can play against the AI versus the AI. I don't know what costs and what doesn't, and I don't remember. Well, the app is free, but I don't remember what costs, so we haven't upgraded. I would like to. Once upon a time, I would like to upgrade, or in the future, I mean. But I haven't unlocked. I don't know if you have to pay to unlock it or whatnot, but they have an easy AI. You can play the easy AI, but you can't play the other one. Pass and play. You have to unlock it. I think you might have to pay. That's kind of stupid. I think you can play online with your friends. Let's see, you have to have an in-game name or email to do such. I don't have that yet. I don't know if it costs to get an account. I don't think so, but you never know. And also, let's see here. Anything else going on in the game world? Well, let's go ahead, and since we touched briefly upon Cthulhu Realms, the app, we might as well dive in to our Kickstarter portion of the game. I'd like to be doing that too on the show, because there's always great things on Kickstarter. Ours won't be up there for longer than a month, so I'll bring you some. I went ahead and typed in Cthulhu on the Kickstarter page, and there's only 4. That was surprising to me. I guess because I'm really a Kickstarter, I'm really a Cthulhu fan. I thought there would be more, but there wasn't, so I was a little displeased about that. But anyways, they have several different things. There's actually 4 things. I don't know if one of them is a game, but this one it's not the game, but it's only got, I guess they have 26 days to go. They're 261% funded. It's called Sweet Dreams Cthulhu, a Lovecraftian bedtime board book. Wow, that's pretty cool. Actually, let's see here. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It's one of the 2 that are made in the U.S. The other 2 of them aren't. But anyways, let's take a dive in at this. Cthulhu, Sweet Dreams Cthulhu, a Lovecraftian bedtime board book. It was funded, and it just looks kind of sweet. Let's see here. I think this would be something perfect for Little Leaf. She's getting past that point. You don't want to call her a baby. At least not when she's in the direct vicinity. She will go off on you. She will tell you that she's not a baby because she's 3 after all. But this is a board book about Cthulhu, and it looks like they did one. C is for Cthulhu back in 2014, and then in 2015 they did a Cthulhu stuffed animal. 2016 they did a C is for Cthulhu update. I don't know if that was an update or whatnot, but that's what it looks like here. They have a couple different videos. They show you the board book. They show you images. It looks like a pretty well page. Let's see here. For $5 pledge, you get Sweet Dreams Cthulhu, a desktop, tablet, and phone wallpaper. Access to all campaign bonuses and updates included with the pledge of $5 and above. For $10, you get the digital deluxe ebook. For $20, you get the board book, free shipping in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., I'm sorry about that. Plus, you also get the digital content. For $35, you'll get Sweet Dreams Cthulhu plus C is for Cthulhu, the Lovecraftian board books. $45, you get all 3. So, let's see here. One's a coloring book. I guess the coloring book was the one they did the latest. The last one was a coloring book, 2016. I think that might have been. Yeah, that was a coloring book with Cthulhu. So how cool is that? Well, anyway, so that would be cool. So maybe Little Leaf could share some Cthulhu love with her old man. I don't know. But anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. If you're into Cthulhu and you got a child, plus with just a Sweet Dreams name, the little leaf, she hasn't been sleeping like for months. I want to say it's been a good 4 months or so. She's been on a sleep strike. Finally ended the last couple days, so that's good. But maybe this book will help her. I don't know. It's a cuddly Cthulhu, so not scary. I don't think, but maybe it'll help her sleep. Let's see here. The main catch, it says a new bedtime story from the creators of C is for Cthulhu, sure to help Lovecraft fans and cultists of all ages drift into dreamland. So, if you're having a toddler that's having trouble sleeping and you want to wait for this to be fully backed, you might as well go ahead and jump on the bandwagon. At the time of this recording, it had 26 days to go. Now, the other one that I really like, I don't know, I haven't read much about it, but listen to this. It's called Sigil and Sign, Cthulhu Mythos RPG, where you play the cultist. Now, I don't know much about Cthulhu. I just know that I like it. But here, what it says about it, it says, you are the cultist in this Lovecraftian cosmic horror RPG from award-winning games publishers Cubicle 7 and Make. So, and this is coming from Swindon, UK. It's 74% of the way funded, or pledged, 74%. And this is it has 22 days to go as the time of this recording. Let's check it out. Let's see here. So, it looks pretty good. Whoa, and the number just jumped up as I was watching it, so that was kind of cool. It was at 33,000 something or another. Now it's at 33,641. So that means that somebody's listening to this podcast. Well, hopefully they were listening. They just barely backed this. So if you're that person, you don't have to back it. But they've only got 288. And so I imagine some of us haven't. So go ahead and click on that back button. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to click on the remind me button. But dope. It's going to make me sign in. So I got to sign in. Now, everybody close your ears as I sign in. Well, never mind. I'm not going to say my password. I can say it in my head. Well, that's pretty good. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and say it in my head so you guys will never know we had this conversation. But while I'm doing that, how about you guys go ahead and back that one, or go ahead and look at it at least. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just looking at it. I'm going to have it remind me. I love that feature about Kickstarter. They go ahead and remind me, and they'll tell me about it. So what you get, let's see here. It looks like it's all in the euros or whatever, but it's about $37 here in America for the digital core set. The core set is a PDF, and that's for $37. Let's see here. There's 18 backers, and then for another $37, they have a retailer package. Verified retailers get copies to sell in your store before general release. The pledge level is your deposit, and we will take your order when the game is about to hit the warehouse. Your order will be fulfilled at the same time as all our backer rewards. So that's kind of cool. And then for the print version, it's $76. I don't know. I might as well get the PDF version in that instance, especially if you're living here in the States, because who knows what shipping costs. Well, let's see here. It looks like pretty good. I don't know much about it, but I always like Cthulhu. They have a Resident Doctor of Medicine, Child of the Sea, some cool cards. It goes over it. But yeah, so if you're browsing on Kickstarter, go ahead and take a look at that. Sigil and Sign, Cthulhu Mythos RPG, where you play the cultist. I guess the easiest way to do this would be go ahead and, like I did, you can just search the word Cthulhu in the keywords of Kickstarter, and you'll be able to find it that way. Okay, now it's story time, and I got some good news for you. It's contest time. Who wants to come to a contest time?
I do.
He does. Who is that? Well, you're in for another treat besides just a contest. Today we're joined by none other than Wizard Leaf. Okay, so like I said, today we're talking about Cthulhu Realms by Darwin Castles. Like I said, I don't know much about the story. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know much about the story, and we didn't do a story walkthrough like today, but we have somebody here with us, is Wizard Leaf. He knows a lot more than I do, and I know zilch about it. Yeah, what do you know about the Cthulhu legend?
Well, it's this large group of stories that was created by the author H.P. Lovecraft. It's a it's all of the stories are about a widely different amount of things. The most popular one is called The Call of Cthulhu, which features the character Cthulhu that the mythos is widely known for. And they're usually just about various different eldritch abominations and monsters that H.P. Lovecraft created. I personally haven't read much of the stories yet, so I can't say much about them, but they are quite interesting. And the most unique thing about the Cthulhu mythos is it's written by many different authors because H.P. Lovecraft allowed the other authors to use his works in their stories. And the whole lore of the mythos is very complicated and it would take a lot of time to go into it, so that's pretty much the basics.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting that he went ahead and let other people write his stories. Another author I know is kind of doing something like that. His name's Larry Correa. He's kind of opened up his world. He's still go ahead and he's vetting the authors that write in his things. I believe he's having to read it. Do you know if H.P. Lovecraft read any of it before it came out or anything like that?
Well, he read some of it, but a lot of the work it was either created by close friends or by other people long after he died, and he really didn't care what was written about it. He just thought it was important to allow his stuff to be shared and not really made so that only he could use it and not be so exclusive.
Well, that's great. I didn't know that. So yeah, like I said, I don't know much about the story, um, and it sounds like it's a pretty wide. It's probably a pretty wide thing, the Cthulhu Realms, and H.P. Lovecraft did a lot of work. And for some reason, I love Cthulhu themed stuff. What exactly? Do you know what the Cthulhu is? What is it?
Well, it's this giant eldritch monster from another dimension. It looks like a complete description was never given, but the most used depiction is that of a large octopus-like humanoid thing. He is currently in most of the stories. He's in a sort of hibernation of sorts in the ancient lost city of Earlia, which exists below the surface of the ocean. And if he awakes, his goal is to basically cause chaos and enslave the human race, which is why it's very important that he stays sleeping. And well, he's he's described as having the abilities to cause madness and general chaos, like most of the monsters in Lovecraft's works, and he's served by a large army of these creatures known as Cthulhu's spawn, which they come in many different forms, and they also somewhat help him keep him sleeping. And the city of Oya is destined to come out of the ocean at a certain date, and when that happens, it won't be very good. And that's usually the general premise of most of the stories involving him, though it's highly varied. And also, he only appears in the story known as The Call of Cthulhu, and he never really appeared in any more of Lovecraft's works, though a lot of people took a liking to him and he became the face of the mythos, and that's pretty much the basics.
So you heard it here first, gamers. Well, maybe you heard it somewhere else, but at least for Gamer Leaf Nation, you heard it here first from none other than Wizard Leaf. Thank you, Wizard Leaf. Now, to get down to gaming, as you probably came here for, also, like I said, there is contest time, so that's always exciting. But anyways, what we're talking about today is the Darwin Castle's Cthulhu Realms, and it is put out by Tasty Minstrel Games. And Tasty Minstrel Games has partnered with Game Relief to provide 3 lucky listeners with a copy of Cthulhu Realms, the card game. It's a deck building game, or at least that's what I would call it. Yeah, it is a deck building game. And let's get down to the nitty gritty. So this game, it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun deck building game. Well, it depends on who you are or what you like, but there's different ways to play the game. There is a 4-player mode, but I never really liked it. I did watch Dice Towers Miami Dice, in which Tom Vassell, Z Garcia, and I forget the other guy's name. Let's see. So Tom, Z, and Sam. Yeah, Sam Healy, where they go in and they talk about the game and how they liked it and disliked it. They talked about, and I looked on the instructions, there is a way to play a 4-player game, but they stated it wasn't really good as a 4-player game, and I would have to agree, even though I've never really played it as a 4-player game. So let's see here. I know you haven't either necessarily, Wizard Leaf, but what do you think this plays better, as a 2-player game or a 4-player game? What do you think?
I would say a 2-player game, though that's just my opinion, because I prefer to do 2-player games as opposed to having a bunch of different people in the game.
Okay, and they have some other different rules with the 4-player game that they have on the instructions. It's like they set up different cards that you can buy, and you can only buy stuff on the right or left of yours. I don't fully understand it, so I didn't like that. I like it where you have the middle row, and you can buy any cards that are out. So yeah, that was a little rough. But like I said, I never played it that way. And let's go ahead and go through each individual thing of the game. So the box and the box and the components. I really enjoy the art in this game, especially the art on the actual box. You got a giant Cthulhu. I imagine he's coming out of the ocean after listening to Wizard Leaf's depiction of the story that I didn't know much about. And then they got some people running through the streets saying the end is nigh with signs and whatnot. And just a giant Cthulhu's coming to get him. And then you got the Tasty Minstrel Games logo on there, and it says it's a 2 to 4 player game taking 25 to 45 minutes. Age is 14 and up. I'd have to say I agree with that. But I really enjoyed the art on the box. It seems like a heavy duty box. Hasn't fallen apart on us yet, but like I said, we haven't played it too very much. And then you look at it, it's just like, it's a deck building game. Eminent Domain, they broke off. So it's a pretty good game. The box is pretty good. Deck building from the future is what it says here. And it just looks like a pretty good box. It says that Cthulhu Awakens. And then they have some stuff. This is great art. I like the art. Actually, we better give a shout out. It says the art is by Rob Lundy. So good job on the art, Rob, at least in my opinion. And then let's see here. So with the other components, the cards seem pretty high duty to. The cards seem like pretty good quality to me. They kind of thick and better than just your typical bicycle cards. I like the art on them. There was a lot of iconography. I think that made it a little hard to teach the iconography on the card. It's a little difficult that way, but so we'll get into that a little bit later. But what I really love about this game, like if you've ever played Star Realms, I imagine you have, but if you haven't, on Star Realms, which is similar, it actually is the same play style. You have hit points in Star Realms because they're trying to blow up each other's ships, and in that game you have to go ahead and you have 50 hit points to start off with, and you have cards like 10s and 5s and whatnot to equal up to 50 points, and you're trading in cards. You're giving 10 and getting 3 back or something, depending on how many hit points they take. But in this, they have a tracker with your brain on it to track your madness. It starts at 55, but you start at 50 points when you play the game, 50 sanity points. And if you ever get below 0, then you are insane, and whoever's left standing wins the game. But I really enjoyed the tracker. That was probably my favorite part of the game, is the tracker to track your insanity. What did you think about the box, the cards, and the insanity tracker, Wizard Leaf?
Well, the box art, like you said, it's pretty good, and so are the cards. The cards definitely are a lot thicker and more durable, which is nice. I do particularly like the sanity meter thing because it's a lot. I prefer it to Star Realms' way of keeping track of your hit points, and it's a lot more convenient stuff.
Well, that's pretty good. You heard it here first from Wizard Leaf, his take on it. So it sounds like that is going in Tasty Minstrel's favor so far, the sanity tracker. So that was a great thing you guys did here. Now, we'd like to discuss, like I said, Wizard Leaf is more of a expert than I am, as I am a zero zilch not an expert on this kind of mythos. But he found a few cards in which he knows more than me. That's saying a lot because I don't know anything about this, but he knows quite a bit, more than he'd like to give himself credit for. But Wizard Leaf, what can you tell us about some of the mythos behind the cards, or some of the cards, or what can you expound, please?
Well, for instance, they have a lot of different codes from the last explored, but quite interesting parts of the mythos. For instance, the Migo, which are this race of fungoid and crustacean-like extraterrestrial beings from the planet Yugoth. They never went into much detail about what they're like, so I can't say much. But the code, it's a pretty good code because it can do, if you have another green code, which is the color of this, it can do a total of 6 damage, which is really helpful. There's also...
Sorry, just to cut in. Otherwise, you can only do 4, so if you want to get rid of somebody's insanity, it looks like that's a pretty good card, as long as you're collecting greens.
There's also such cards as the deep ones. The deep ones are like these fish-like creatures that came from the ocean. They often come up on land and interact with humans and stuff, but they worship these larger versions of their species known as Father Dagon and Mother Hydra, which are, they used to be deep ones as well, but they're much more large and ancient, and they're very interesting characters. And the card, it can be used to either deal 4. It can make your opponent lose 4 sanity points, or it can be used to buy a card or several cards that total up to the amount of 3 in cost. Another favorite card of mine is the Yithian card. It depicts these creatures known as the Great Race of Yith, who they have the ability to switch bodies and minds with other characters and creatures, and this one depicts the ancient Paleolithic form where it's kind of difficult to describe what they looked like, so you should check out the card for yourself, but they're pretty cool. The card can be used to buy anything that totals up to a cost of 2, and if you have another similar green card, it can also deal 1 damage of sanity. And those are my personal favorite cards. However, there's also some interesting cameos from Robert W. Chambers' The King in Yellow series, which is a closely related series to the Cthulhu mythos. The 2 cards in question, or actually there's 3. There's the King in Yellow card. It depicts this play that's said to be cursed, and it comes in several acts. The first act, it's completely innocent and harmless, but if you read any further after that, it will drive you insane, and that is actually well depicted on the card because it does a lot of damage to your sanity at a total of 5, and it can also you can also use it to discard certain cards, which is nice. There's also the Yellow Sign card, which is from the King in Yellow as well. It's the sign symbol used by the unspeakable one, Hastur, or the King in Yellow, to drive people insane if you look at it. And then there's also the Unspeakable One himself, Haster. He's sometimes depicted as a separate entity, but his most common depiction is as the King in Yellow himself, a character depicted within the play. And well, those are my personal favorite cards. So there's plenty more, and you should check out the game for yourself to see the cards. And they've all got great art, and they go into some of the more interesting aspects of the mythos.
Okay, great. So he's got some favorite cards. I was trying to rummage through the cards to find my favorite, but it looks like Wizard Leaf went ahead and did it for me. I don't know much about it, but I really enjoyed it. Actually, it helped me win the game. The Miskatonic University, because in this game they have locations which are kind of like bases in Star Realms. And I really like this one because what it takes if you have, I didn't fully understand, but if you have a person on your card, like it's depicted as a person, you get -2. You can take 2 of the sanity from another player, as well as if you have one of a cylinder or a vase, let's call it a vase. I don't know if it was, but if you have that, you get -3. And so if you have both of them, then you get another -3. So it takes a total of 8 points away from them. It had a conjuring cost of 8 points, and then it cost 6 to destroy, and that really helped me knock out Wizard Leaf in our gameplay today of that game. Now there's a little bit of there's some different kind of things in this game. It had a lot of different things that you have to do. There's prerequisites on some of the cards, like Wizard Leaf was saying. Some of the cards you have to have a certain color in order to play that specific thing. And then there's also a type icon you must have to play play the card. Like I said, the person, the vase, or I call it a train, but it's not really a train as Wizard Leaf was pointing out to me. It looks like it's actually probably like a clock tower or something. But I call them a train, but that's not true. And there's different things. It's a really fun game, I thought. I really enjoyed it. I would probably, with the iconography and whatnot, let's see here. It's, I say after you play it like 10 to 15 times, kind of like they said on the Dice Towers review of it, that you should be good to go, and maybe it will end up on your 9x9 or top 10 games. I know it has for me, even though we don't get to play it much because Lady Leaf is not too fond of it, but that's okay. I love her still. Now, let's see. So, I would go ahead and give this a two Cthulhu tentacles, if that's a thing, or like a lot of them wear fedoras. I'd give it 2 fedoras up because I have 2 hands. I can hold 2 fedoras up high in the sky. And that's my take on it. I really enjoyed this game. And once again, if you want to go ahead and try to win the game, go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. And in a few weeks, well, when the Kickstarter is over, we will go ahead and announce the winners. So pay attention. If you want to win the game, we will go ahead and let you know. But you got to listen because we might be announcing a winner every week. So how do you enter? Go ahead and send us an email letting me know who was on the podcast with me today. Go ahead and send that email to GamerLeaf. That's Gamer Leaf, Leaf, like a leaf on a tree, at gamerleafgo.com. Once again, that's gamerleaf at gamerleafgo.com. Now, let's go ahead and hear Wizard Leaf's take on the game. What did you think, Wizard Leaf?
Well, it's definitely probably one of my new favorite games. It took a little bit getting used to because I expected it to be exactly like Star Realms, but there were a few other additions to the game. I think most of them were for the better. As GamerLeaf said, the iconography was a little bit confusing at first, but once you get used to it, it's not that much of a problem. And all in all, I think the game was probably one of my favorites, and I definitely give it a 9 out of 10.
Wow, you heard it here first. A 9 out of 10. I imagine that 10 is the top you can go. So he gave it a 9 out of a 10. That is great. So let's see here. To recap, today we did Tasty Minstrel Games, Cthulhu Realms. And if you'd like to win a copy of it, go ahead and send us an email over at gamerleaf@gamerleafgo.com stating who was my co-host today. Now, like I said, the next episodes we will go back to the normal way of the show. This one we really wanted to highlight the game and get a little bit of the background on Cthulhu out to you, as I know zero zilch nothing about that. When we do another Cthulhu game, and we definitely will, as I really like Cthulhu, I will go ahead and study some of it. Wizard Leaf knows quite a bit, and he knows where to find some resources, so I'm going to go ahead and pick his brain. But until next time, I don't know what we would say. What would Cthulhu, what kind of thing would H.P. Lovecraft or that Robert somewhat guy say if they were signing out of a podcast, Wizard Leaf? Okay, he shrugged. So, I guess neither of us know. Well, I haven't read much of it, but that's okay. What would you say, Wizard Leaf, if you were logging off, or how would you say goodbye to our listeners?
Well, I would say you should definitely check this game out, check our Kickstarter out, and stay tuned so you can watch more of our great podcast.
You heard it here first. So, what would I say? I would say I would echo what Gamer Leaf's son, because that's right, Wizard Leaf is actually Gamer Leaf's son. So I would go ahead and echo what Wizard Leaf had to say. I would go ahead and check out the Kickstarter. I would go ahead and continue to listen to our great podcasts. Well, we hope you are still listening. If you stuck around this far, you might as well go ahead and check out the next episode. We will be bringing them to you once again after we launch. We are going to go ahead and bring them to you every Friday, just trying to get this off the ground, as you'll see on the KS page. But go ahead and send me an email once again and you can just let me know who my co-host was, and you can have a chance to win Tasty Minstrel's game, Cthulhu Realms, which both me and Wizard Leaf seems to love, and I know you will too. So, for Gamer Leaf and Wizard Leaf, signing off. Ta-ta for now.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.